Yes, today guys, we are going to tear this girl apart. Not that there's anything wrong with it, other than it's got a lot of sawdust, oil, and crap stuck in vents, recoil, other side. So we're going to give her a tear down. It's cold outside. We're going to tear her down, put her back together, sharpen it up, take the rakers down, and we're going to be ready for when the weather warms up. So. Oh, recoil screws. Well, container to keep all the screws separated. Oh, look at all the crap inside of there. Cover to keep some of the crap out, but pretty dirty. So we're going to clean up what we can. We just pop these latches off here. Cover comes off. A little dirty, but not too bad. Air filter's got a little crap on one side. She's kind of crappy on this side, but you know, there's a lot of crap in around the recoil. So we're going to try to show you a little bit here as we go. Recoil, like I said, it's just no need to have all that sawdust in there. Yeah, we get happy Valentine's Day, minus 38 Celsius this morning, February 14th. It's the weather we're getting. Oh, I've got a little space here. Should be doing it up on the table so I don't have to bend over. But I got 5 other projects that I started, worked on, cleaned up, tools laying around, odds and ends, so we'll clean that up later. But she comes apart just like that. Now look at that. Inside of that recoil where the clutch and everything sits is absolutely full of crap. Now when it gets cold, that stuff's damp. You're outside. If you don't warm your saw up, make sure it's, you know, going to run. You get out in the bush and then it won't start, or you can't turn it over because it's frozen. So this is going to prevent that. Not that I've had a frozen saw in the bush. It always starts for me because I start it before I leave. So we're going to just get the chain off. Bar off. Hey, everything's new deal for 2 pounds of moose burger. A new deal for the cold days. Now get it started. Get it started thawing. Now I think we'll shut that fire off. I got things to do in the shop. Been neglecting. So we are going to just put that on the wood stove for now. I just use a flat screwdriver, get rid of most of it. And then I dig out the air compressor. But let's get most of it out. a lot of little nooks and crannies, and you know, you just about have to spray it with a cleaner to get all the grooves clean. They don't all have to be perfect, but just getting most of them out, most of it, it's going to prevent it from freezing up on you. Keep a garbage can handy all the time for this stuff. It's not, otherwise I just have to sweep it up off my floor, so it's too cold to work on it outside. Let me get this cleaned up. Not too bad. This is not bad. The recoil side, it's got a little fuzz and sawdust, and these vents are all put in here for a reason, to cool the engine. All sits on your engine side to pull air in, and I know some people cover them up with tape so they can set their saw in the snow. Yeah, you gotta do is tramp a little spot, make a habit of not setting your saw in the snow. And you'll never have recoil freeze up. I've never had mine freeze up. I always lay it on the other side, on the blade side down, or that kind of thing. But there's some way I do it, and I just take I'm never in that big of a hurry, right? You can't get in a hurry, because that's the things you do. You just drop the saw in loose snow. And I watched a young guy do it just the other day, more than once. And you know, you're gonna go out in the bush, sharpen your chainsaw, make sure it's running good, make sure the bar is turning good, your oiler is working, check a few things, just, you know, little checklist before you get out to the bush, and you're going to have way less problem. She definitely pumps out lots of oil. Keeps the chain going good, but oh, that sawdust, the dry sawdust sticks. I don't know if close enough here, you guys can see it all, but you know, all in here, your recoil, your mag, everything gets covered and stuff. You won't even get proper spark if this gets all corroded up the inside on your flywheel side. You might pull and pull and pull your chainsaw. It doesn't want to start because you haven't cleaned it for a while. And so there's a lot in there. I'm going to do a little more scraping. Well, I scraped and pulled at it and cleaned and got as much off as I can. So, here's what I got going here. Yeah, it gets a little noisy if the compressor kicks in, but well, we'll do some slopping and mucking here. Get out your pen and paper. See if you can keep track of what goes in. We'll get this onion fixed up, and we'll get right back to you. I'm just going to, some nice onions. I've lost the odd one. Just hang them up where it's dry. The humidity is not too high, and they keep pretty well. I had a pretty nice patch of onions this year, some some really big ones. But I'm going to get these all trimmed up. They're out of the way, and then it's easy to dice. A couple of cups of that, and we better go for the big pot. And the hand are all browned up nice. So I'm going to get to the good stuff, get her started. Get the fire on. Onions like lots of salt. Try some of this. Package with onions. They keep pretty well when they're cut green and frozen. And peppers, I haven't used enough of them, and they get a little frost in the bag, but that's okay. I'm gonna put these are hot. I don't know. That's probably going to be plenty. Chili peppers. Yeah, try and keep all the air out of the bag when it's in the freezer if possible, but that's hard sometimes. And that's not the bag I wanted. So you keep track of the recipe. Keep putting things back and taking things out. Yeah, I took a few out of this bag already. Fresh carrots I grew last year. They grow awesome here. Lots of compost and topsoil and dirt in my planters so they can grow deep. Just go for another few minutes before we add this stuff. Sun's trying to come out. It's cold. It's been kind of partly cloudy and partly sunny. And yeah, to go back to videos last fall, I had lots of tomatoes. I got lots of moose meat, some pork chops. And we're going to just take a few of these guys in for the soup. Yeah. Once they cook just a little bit, we'll take the skins off. Yeah, I just take the stem, cut the stem out of most of them before I freeze them. So they're all washed and all that good stuff before they go in the freezer. So they can go right in the pot, and then once it boils a bit, we can pick the big pieces of skin out. And we're going to just relax and let it go for a bit. You just thaw it just a wee bit like that, and the skin just comes right off. I don't burn my hands to blanch them before they get put in the freezer. Watched my parents and grandparents do that for quite a few years, and then I taught them how to just freeze them first. But back in the day, they blanched them and cut them up and mushed them and canned them and all that good stuff because there was no freezers. So preserving a lot of stuff had to be preserved in jars, and I used to preserve in jars. I just don't have the time right now. So many other things going on, and being able to share a little with you guys and get out and get my things done that need done every day. So that's pretty much de-skinned. Oh, might as well put them all in there. Peas are good for you. I had a few containers. I ran out of bags, so I just containered them, and they keep pretty well in there. So We're going to add this, about 5 pounds of potatoes. Oh, there's a piece in there that had, yeah. Stir that up a little. And we're going to put it on the wood stove to do its thing for a while, and we'll add a little more. So if you've got really good air pressure, you know, you have to just change directions of your air hose every direction. Make sure you keep your air filter on and, you know, blow everything all off as clean as you can. I mean, man, it looks nice under the muffler, around the muffler, and you just got to go every direction. Now, I know there is a lot of guys out there that will get, air filter gets dirty, and they'll take it off, and they'll rinse it, or they'll blow backwards through the air filter. Never do that. Air filter is meant to draw air in this way. If it gets dirty, you can take an air hose and you can blow it off. But if you blow from the backside, all those fibers, the way they're put in there, you blow them apart, and then all you're doing is sucking stuff right through. You don't want to do that. So just clean your air filter with it in place, just blow it off, and you're good to go. But it all looks pretty good, so we're gonna just get at her and put it back together. We'll put the recoil side on first and the top on, and then we're going to get to, oh, can't forget. See this thing here? It sucks air in around and helps guide it. That's what this little piece is. That's why you shouldn't block vents and stuff like that, because that actually pushes air up through to the other side of the engine to help keep it cool. So you put your little hose back on, and that just sits on there. Dogs are all clean. Make sure that you didn't pull any wiring off. And we're going to set it on, and we're going to get the screws back in. And this goes on. Got to be just in the right spot. It slides right down over the spark plug and everything, so I'm going to just put a couple more screws in. I'll take it out and start it, because before I put the blade on, this is where the oil comes out. And I know sometimes little pieces of sawdust and stuff get stuck in. You know, you can start it up and just let it run a little bit till the oil starts to come out, and then you take a paper towel, just wipe that off nicely, and then you know that it's going to come out of there, because it goes from there into your bar. So the little hole in the bar, there's one on either side here. They're just a small hole, and when you put that on, the oil will come through, and if you got to tighten your bar, it slides back and forth. That's why on here, this is about 1.25 inches long, so you can actually slide your bar to tighten your chain, and it still gets oil. So we'll catch you guys in a little bit. We'll touch it up. There, a nice little bit of oil in there. Paper clean, so we know that there's nothing stuck in there. I just run a little piece of hay wire around inside the bar just to make sure the groove is good and it doesn't bother the chain at all. So I'm going to do some fairly heavy cutting, so I'm going to take the rakers down quite a bit. It'll all be log cutting, not willows and brush. You gotta be very careful taking your rakers down. You gotta cut willows and brush, that sort of thing, because your saw will jerk. But you get into the big logs, it's good. So we're gonna get that fixed up. These will go back together. They're nice and clean. Nothing in the brake area, the clutch area there. So try to put this on, and it just will not line up and go on. You gotta remember, while you're cleaning, if your brake gets kicked on, then this will not go back on. So if you come off, this has to either brakes be on, brakes be off. Take your brake off, take everything off, make sure it's off, and it's got to fit. These grooves in here have to fit in your handle so that it comes off properly. So they slide together. If I just adjust my tightener. Either wiggle it around, just get it in the right place, and then it slides right in. That'll stay there. I like to have my chain fairly snug when I go to sharpen. You can see I can pick that up a little bit, and gotta be able to pull it up just so that barely the bottom of the teeth are at the top of the bar, and then it's pretty decent for not getting in the way, or catching things, or possibility of it kicking off. So be careful you don't over tighten and break these. If you're using you just use a 1/2-inch wrench. I'll use this, and you gotta be careful, don't slip or you hit your knuckles on the chain. I snug it up fairly tight, and now I'll just run it around a little bit to get some fresh oil in the chain, just a wee bit, so it'll make it easier turning. Yeah, I think that's good, so we'll get her sharpened up. Just like a dentist cleaning your teeth. Just like that. So, went all the way around. I'm going to rub my mark off a little bit here. Nice. My red marker's not working very good. I try to do it so it's easy to see. Now I just used the Dremel because I wanted to take the rakers down. I'm kind of gauging them by eye. Just, you don't always get it accurate, so you don't have to do it like I do it. Use a file on your, you don't get the exact amount, 4 strokes on each one or whatever, the way you want to do it, and keep it just puttering along. I mean, this here is just kind of I'm going to be cutting straight in the logs, not really in the bush. This chain is about half gone already, so it's time to take them down. But I use a 3/16 bit for sharpening, and just put her in the Dremel. But after I've sharpened the saw about 4 or 5 times, the bit will start to get wore, and it'll be it won't be exact. It won't be, you know, the size exactly the way it should be, so you're not getting a proper sharpen. But I save the old ones and then just use them for things like that. So, you know, now I got my teeth marked, and I'll start with the one I marked. Yeah, you can feel them teeth all have a nice sharp little hook on them. Well, all I was doing, it wasn't really that dull. I was just giving them a quick little touch, just, you know. Been cold, haven't been out for a few days, so we're just get some of these little chores done that we can get done, and saw sharpened and ready to go and that kind of thing. And it's time to go back in and have some supper. Have some of them saws clean. It looks just about like new. So we'll take her out and see if she runs that way. Catch you guys all a little bit later. That's how I sharpen mine. That's how I take the rakers down. You just try and guide each one so that you're very close. If you don't, you get one off too much. You'll get vibration and shake. So try and keep it smooth, or just use a flat file. I've just done it this way for a long time, and it's worked for me. So we'll be seeing you guys back on the wood patch here in a few days, maybe a couple days. Well, I bring it back here and crank up the heat for a minute. Yes. Mushroom soup, believe that. It is good. Makes your soups nice and creamy. My daughter had a really good corn crop and canned corn last year. It's a pretty big jar of corn for that pot, but yeah, we'll make it a little chowderish. We call that moose corn chowder. That is going to be good. I'm going to enjoy. So thank you guys all for coming along. Hope I didn't make you too hungry.